I sent my mom $4,000 for her surgery, but 3 days later, I saw her partying in Paris on Instagram. And that's when I realized the operation wasn't on her body.
It was on my trust.
I thought I was being a good daughter. She said the doctors were worried that the surgery was urgent. I drained my savings without hesitation. $4,000. Every cent I'd saved to finally breathe. But 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed. A tag notification. There she was. My mother. In a red dress. Champagne glass in hand. The Eiffel Tower glowing behind her. That's when everything inside me cracked. Because when your mother lies to you, it's not just betrayal. It's the death of the little girl who believed her. And I wasn't going to let that go unpunished. The sound of the subway rumbling beneath the sidewalk always reminded Rain Carter of everything she'd escaped and everything she was still running from. At 31, she was finally living in a one-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, the kind with creaky wooden floors and a window that barely opened. It wasn't much, but it was hers. After years of surviving off instant noodles, student loans, and the guilt her mother fed her by the spoonful, Rain had carved out her own space in the world. The morning her phone rang, she was halfway through an ad campaign pitch for a skincare client. Her laptop screen glowed with deadlines and mock-ups when her mother's name, Mom, flashed across the screen. Rain hesitated. Calls from her mother never meant small talk. They meant something had gone wrong. She sighed, clicked accept, and forced cheer into her voice. Hey, Mom. Rain, honey. Her mother's voice was trembling, soft but theatrical. I didn't want to bother you, but I'm in the hospital. Rain froze.
What?
What happened? It's my gallbladder. The doctors say I need surgery. It's not cheap. Rain's chest tightened. Her mother, Elaine Carter, had always been dramatic, but the fear in her tone sounded real. Oh my God, are you okay? I'm trying to stay calm, but the insurance won't cover everything. They said the copay is about $4,000. I don't know what I'll do. I hate asking you for help, but... Stop, Rain interrupted, already reaching for her bank app. Don't worry about it. I'll handle it. Rain, no. I can't let you.
Mom.
You don't need to say anything. Just text me the account. Silence on the line. Then a shaky exhale. You're such a blessing, baby. I don't know what I'd do without you. Rain smiled weakly, blinking back tears. You do the same for me. When the call ended, she sat staring at the transfer screen. $4,000, nearly her entire savings. Rent was due next week. Her car payment too. But she didn't hesitate. For all the emotional manipulation, for all the guilt trips, her mother was still her mother. As the confirmation screen blinked, transaction complete, Rain told herself it was worth it. That night, she barely slept. Memories came flooding back, her mom sitting at the kitchen table smoking cigarettes, bills piled high, muttering about how Rain's father had left them with nothing. You'll understand one day, her mom used to say. Family is all you have. But family, Rain had learned, could also be the wound that never healed. Still, she called every night that week, checking in, making sure her mother was recovering. Each time, her mom sounded tired, weak, grateful. Just resting, sweetheart, she'd say. Don't worry about me. 2 weeks later, on a Thursday evening, Rain sat curled on her couch with a glass of cheap red wine, scrolling through Instagram to numb her overworked brain. The glow of her phone reflected off her tired eyes as she mindlessly flipped through travel photos, brunches, and ads she'd helped create. Then she saw it. A familiar face. Her mother, Elaine Carter, radiant in a red dress, champagne glass raised high, standing under a golden Paris sunset. The caption, posted by her Aunt Lydia, read, Girls' trip to Paris. France woman dancing kiss mark love these memories with my beautiful sister. Rain's thumb froze mid-scroll. Her pulse thundered. She opened the post. There were 5 photos. Her mother was laughing at a cafe. Her mother in front of the Eiffel Tower. Her mother clinked glasses with a man Rain didn't recognize. The date, 3 days ago. Her heart dropped. 3 days ago, her mother had told her she, was still resting from the surgery. Rain's breath hitched as she scrolled through the comments. "You two look amazing. Paris looks good on you." Elaine's smiling face with heart eyes. "Is that your new boyfriend?" She dropped the phone like it burned her.
No.
There had to be some mistake. Maybe this was old. Maybe. Her shaking fingers scrolled back to the timestamp. Posted 72 hours ago. Her mother had never mentioned a trip. Never mentioned a boyfriend. Just surgery. And a plea for help. Rain's body felt numb. She sat in silence, the kind that buzzes in your ears. Her mind spun through disbelief, anger, and grief. She wanted to call, no, scream, but something in her stopped. Her mom's voice echoed in her head. "Family is all you have." Rain picked up the phone and stared at her contact list. Then she opened her laptop instead. For the next hour, she did what she did best, research. The marketer turned detective. She traced the tags, checked locations, and cross-referenced dates. Every clue added up to one truth. Her mother hadn't been sick. The hospital story was fake. $4,000? Used for a girl's trip to Paris with a man named Colin, her mother's new friend. Rain's chest ached as she clicked through more photos. Her mother looked happier than she had in years, carefree, youthful, glowing. And it wasn't the surgery. Rain's phone buzzed. A message from her mom. "Mom. Hey honey. Just checking in. How's work? Red heart." Rain stared at the screen. No mention of the trip. No guilt. No explanation. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She typed, "Hope you're feeling better." Then deleted it. Typed again, "Where are you?" Deleted that, too. Finally, she put the phone face down. She couldn't trust herself to speak, not yet. Instead, she opened a new document on her laptop. Title, "What People Do for Love." But the document stayed blank. Because this wasn't love. This was theft. This was betrayal. And Rain Carter had finally learned the difference. That night, she didn't sleep. By morning, her pillow was damp, and her apartment felt smaller than ever. At 9 a.m., she logged into work, eyes swollen, voice flat. Her coworker, Jordan, messaged her. "Hey, you okay? You look off." She typed back, "Just tired." But inside, a slow-burning storm had started. Her mother had taken her kindness, twisted it, and toasted champagne on it in another country. Rain wasn't the type to explode. She planned. She waited. And this time, she would make her mother see what she'd done, without shouting a word. The next morning, Rain walked to work through a drizzle that mirrored the weight in her chest. The city roared as always, taxis honking, coffee carts steaming, but she felt detached from it all, like she was watching life through fogged glass. The betrayal had carved something deep inside her. Not just the money, not even a lie. It was the realization that her mother could fabricate an illness, look her in the eye, and still smile for the camera 3,000 miles away. By noon, she'd made a decision. She wasn't going to confront Elaine in anger. She was going to confront her in truth. Rain started small. She called the hospital her mother had named. After a brief hold, the receptionist said, "I'm sorry, ma'am. There's no record of Elaine Carter being admitted this month." Her throat tightened. Not even an outpatient surgery?
No, ma'am.
Nothing under that name. That confirmed it. The lie wasn't partial. It was total. Rain hung up slowly, hands trembling. Then she texted her Aunt Lydia, her mother's older sister, pretending innocence. Rain. "Hey, Aunt Lydia. How was Paris?" "It looked amazing, Aunt Lydia." "Oh, it was wonderful, sweetheart. Your mom really needed that getaway. I'm so glad she finally let Colin treat her." Rain blinked. "Colin?" "Aunt Lydia." "Yes, her new boyfriend. He's lovely. He paid for most of the trip, I think. But she mentioned you helped too? That was so kind of you." Rain stared at the message until her vision blurred. Her surgery money had been pocket money for vacation with a man she'd never met. A part of her wanted to scream, but the other part, the one that had spent years in silence, was colder now. If her mother could lie so easily, Rain could learn to do the same. She typed back, "Glad she had fun. She deserves it." And she meant it, just not in the way her aunt thought. That evening, Rain scrolled through her mother's Facebook page. New photos kept appearing: lunches in Montmartre, shopping sprees, perfume boutiques. Every image felt like a fresh slap. She noticed something in one picture, a business card half visible near a champagne glass. It read, "Colin Whitford, Whitford Consulting, Paris, New York." Rain's eyes narrowed. Consulting. She worked in marketing. She knew how these networks intertwined. Curiosity flared into strategy. Over the next week, Rain did her research. Colin Whitford, 52, international business consultant with a small firm that handled brand repositioning for luxury clients. And guess which firm's email she found on his site? Her own agency. They'd just signed a contract with Whitford Consulting for a joint project based in Paris. Fate, it seemed, was handing her the stage. Rain didn't mention a word to her mom. When Elaine texted from Paris, "Miss you, baby. Feeling so much better, 2 hearts." Rain responded with polite warmth, "I'm glad, Mom. You deserve happiness." She even sent her an emoji. But behind the smile, she was already in motion. 3 weeks later, Rain's boss called her into his office. "Rain, how would you feel about taking the lead on the Whitford project? The client requested someone detail-oriented and emotionally intuitive. You fit perfectly." Her heart skipped. Whitford, as in Colin Whitford.
Yes.
He'll be overseeing the Paris campaign remotely, but may visit New York. Interested? Rain managed a calm nod. Absolutely. Inside, her pulse thundered. The next month was a blur of strategy meetings, late-night design tweaks, and subtle manipulation. Rain positioned herself as the project's linchpin, the one person Colin's firm needed for success. Emails from Colin began arriving in her inbox. "Pleasure to meet you virtually, Miss Carter. I've heard glowing things from your team." Every word made her smile grimly. "You've also been spending my money," she thought. Their first video call came 2 weeks later. Colin appeared on screen, salt and pepper hair, expensive suit, smug smile. The kind of man who bought charm like cologne. "Rain," he said warmly, "your reputation precedes you. I must say, you're far more impressive than your mother described." Her stomach twisted, but her face didn't show it. "Oh, I hope she said good things." He chuckled.
She adores you.
"Said you're brilliant but distant." Rain smiled thinly. "Some distances are earned." He didn't get it. He laughed politely and launched into project details. When the call ended, she stared at her reflection in the blank laptop screen. She looked calm, controlled. But beneath it, the fire was spreading. That weekend, her mother returned from Paris, tanned and glowing, calling Rain nonstop. "Rain, you won't believe how beautiful it was. I brought you a souvenir." Rain finally answered on Sunday. Her voice was smooth, practiced. "That's sweet, Mom. How are you feeling?" "Oh, much better.
Colin really took care of me.
You should meet him. Maybe we can all go to dinner." "Sure," Rain interrupted softly. "Soon." She hung up before the lie could sting again. A month later, Colin flew to New York for a campaign summit. Rain's team hosted a private dinner. She made sure to arrive early, poised, confident in a navy dress that matched her calm. When Colin walked in, her mother was with him. Elaine's hand looped around his arm, her laughter bubbling like champagne. "Rain," her mom exclaimed, delighted. "Oh my God, I didn't know you'd be here." Rain turned, feigning surprise. "Neither did I." The dinner was a slow-burning play of tension and restraint. Colin boasted about his company's growth, Elaine bragged about Paris, and Rain smiled through it all, every word feeding her resolve. Halfway through, Colin said, "Elaine told me you were kind enough to help her during her surgery scare. You're a wonderful daughter." Rain met his eyes. "Surgery scare? That's one way to describe it." Elaine stiffened. Rain leaned forward slightly, voice smooth as silk. "You know, Mom, I called the hospital. They didn't have any record of you." Silence fell like a blade. Elaine's face was drained of color. I must have. Colin frowned. Elaine? Rain smiled politely. Oh, it's fine. I'm sure she just forgot which hospital it was. Between the trip and all. The table shifted uneasily. Elaine forced a laugh. Right. I, must have mixed things up. But Rain saw the flicker of panic in her mother's eyes. The first crack. She didn't press further, not yet. Over the next few weeks, Rain's strategy unfolded quietly. She worked closely with Colin, earning his trust, subtly revealing the inconsistencies in Elaine's stories whenever the opportunity arose. A mention here, a question there, enough to make Colin curious, to make him look deeper. Eventually, he did. 2 months later, Rain got an email from her mother. Mom, Colin broke up with me. He said he can't trust me. What did you do? Rain stared at it for a long time, then typed back. I didn't do anything you didn't already do to yourself. No response came. Weeks passed. Rain threw herself into work. The Whitford project went global, and she was offered a promotion, lead strategist for the Paris branch. When her boss announced it, she almost laughed at the irony. Paris, the city that broke her heart. 2 months later, Rain stood at a cafe in Montmartre, the same one from her mother's Instagram photo. The same golden light, the same Eiffel Tower in the distance. She ordered black coffee and watched the tourists stream by, feeling a strange peace settle over her. Her phone buzzed. A message from her mom. Mom, I'm sorry, Rain. For everything. I shouldn't have lied. I just wanted to feel loved again. Rain read it twice, then typed slowly. I understand, Mom. But love built on lies doesn't last. I hope you find the kind that does. She hit send. The waiter set her coffee down, and she smiled faintly. In the reflection of the cafe window, she saw not a victim, but a woman who'd finally stopped chasing apologies. She raised her cup slightly, whispering to herself, to the truth. And for the first time in years, Rain Carter didn't feel used, broken, or small. She felt free.